Hello, I'm Refashionista Sheri, and this is a little Skelly here. He's not so little though. And you know what? I got myself this lovely I Love Refashioning personalized sweatshirt, but it's a little bit tighter than I expected. So I'm kind of uncomfortable sitting here working, and I think we need to upsize this. So let's go do it. Before we jump into upsizing this awesome personalized sweatshirt that I gifted myself, here's another nifty gifty that I got for myself. This wonderful carpet that, keeps my tender tootsies warm while I'm here shooting my videos on my table. And it has a wonderful sentiment, I think perfect for when I do mistakes, which I often do when I'm refashioning. Anyway, let's get to upsizing this sweatshirt. So clearly, for this hopefully a quick and easy project, all you need is your too tight sweatshirt, and I'm pretty sure this technique would work for any kind of shirt, t-shirts, even button-down shirts. Maybe not so much for sweaters, because if you cut them, they're probably going to come apart and fray, but that's going to be a challenge for another video, I think. And you need some fabric or another shirt to use for your upsizing panels, and I went with this lovely red that I've actually had in my stash for quite some time, and it is very vintage, this duo fold long underwear shirt. This company, let's do some vintage tag appreciation, shall we? This company started in 1906. Clearly this isn't from 1906. This is probably late 60s, early 70s, but that's just kind of cool, to know where these awesome tags originated from. And I collect the vintage tags. That's just something I do. So I'll be removing this and adding it to my collection to eventually transform into something cool. I'm not sure what, but we'll get there. Now, for anybody who's like, no, you're destroying vintage. First of all, this is long underwear. Literally, it's underwear. So I have no qualms about cutting into that. And second of all, this is mine. If you get your own, you can do whatever the heck you want with it. But this is mine, and I'm going to use it to upsize this, so I will actually wear it. So it's something that's not going to get worn is going to become useful and become worn frequently. Just in case anyone wondered what that background sound was, this is the sound. Skelly? Hello, handsome boy. So my idea to upsize this, because it's the chesticle area here where I'm having the most tightness issues. So first I was thinking, just, add side panels. That's super simple. You just cut open the sides, add the panels, and you're done. But then I thought, you know what? I want to do something a little bit more refashionista fancy. So I'm going to take that lovely red fabric and add the upsizing panel stripes right here. And I think that's going to look pretty cool. So first, the very first thing I'm going to do is chop off this bottom hem, and then I don't have to worry about chopping up the bottom hem and trying to match everything. And I want to put this on the bottom once again, and you'll see in the end how cool it's going to look. Fingers crossed, anyway. So you can see here that I chopped it off in a lovely tube, keeping it all intact, and I did leave myself just enough kind of seam allowance here that I can stitch it back on to the bottom of the shirt once it's upsized. Because this has a print on it, I can't simply just chop wherever the heck I want to chop to add my side panels to this. I have to really be conscious of, leaving enough seam allowance for the sleeve area here as well as for the print. But because I am me, I really am just going to kind of eyeball this, and I'm going to do one side at a time, of course, so then I can use this chop side as the template to chop the other side, so it's going to be more even than not. Let's hope. Okay, so got my scissors, and I'm just going to go straight up from the bottom all the way through the top shoulder hem, and I'm chopping off the entire side, including the sleeves, front and back. Okay, that totally worked well. Now I'm just going to flip this over and use it, as I said, as a template. Make sure everything is lined up as evenly as possible, and then chop off the other side. Right, both sides are chopped off, and because they are identical looking, I am going to stick a white pin on the front of the left side, and I'm going to keep that to the left of my table, and I'm going to put a yellow pin in the front of the right side and put that on the right side of my table. So now hopefully I will not forget which side is which when it comes to putting it back together. To create my upsizing inserts, I think I'm going to try to be a little bit cool here and utilize the shoulder seams as well. So I'm going to try to match up the shoulder seams with the shoulder seams of the sweatshirt. And so I'm just going to chop out a strip from each side of this shirt to create my upsizing panels. And I'm not really sure what size they need to be. Like the sweatshirt was just a bit too tight on me, but I want it to be quite loose. So I think, I don't know, maybe we do 5 to 10 centimeters. I know that's like a wide range, but we'll see what happens when we get there. I always like to measure to see how close I am with my guesstimates. And if we look at that, exactly 6 centimeters. So I was right, it is between 5 and 10 centimeters. And just like I did for the sweatshirt, I'm just going to use this piece as the template to chop out the piece from the other side of this shirt. And my insert pieces are pretty perfectly sized. I am super thrilled with that. But what am I going to do with these? Well, these are going to go in my stash for now because I do have a really cool idea for how to upcycle and reuse these and create a really cool garment. So be sure to subscribe, and that'll be coming up really, really soon. So I think I have it laid out pretty much how I'm going to put it all back together. And this is really part of the amazing fun of refashioning, is thinking out of the box and figuring out how to puzzle things together that you've cut up. And it's just so much fun. And again, never feel bad about cutting something, because if it doesn't work out, you can always make it into something else. And always remember, perfection is the enemy of good enough, and nobody is looking at the inside seams or anything like that. And people rarely notice like an errant thread or anything like that. Just because you see it doesn't mean everybody does. So just give it a try. Grab your scissors. I have so many no-sew tutorials. And if you really don't know how to get started, check out my mini courses. They are less than $10 each, and there's loads of them. So you have zero excuses. I have free tutorials. I have full-on courses. I have mini courses. I have ebooks. I have regular books you can buy. So grab your scissors and get transforming and creating the wardrobe of your dreams all by yourself on a very, very no budget. I think it's going to be easiest to attach these panels to the centerpiece first, because it's just like one long piece stitching together with another long piece, and all the way straight down. There's no kind of curves or anything. So that's what I'm going to do first. Okay, so now I think you can see better what I meant when I said it's just like a long piece and another long piece you got to stitch together. So it's just totally straight down. And you could even do this, you know, with hand stitching. It's really not that difficult at all. Just machine stitching is so much faster. But I mean, again, if you don't have a machine, do it by hand and upsize your sweatshirts or whatever other shirts. So you want to make sure that you have the right sides facing, as always, and then simply line up those raw edges and go stitch it all together. And here is a tip: whenever you can utilize the seams, absolutely do, because it makes life so much easier when you can just line up the seams. So this was a shoulder seam, this is a shoulder seam. I'm lining them up together, and then I'm just going to go stitch that all together. Easy peasy. Both sides are now stitched on and they are looking lovely. We'll check them out in a moment. But if you're new here, first of all, welcome to my wonderful world of refashioning. I have literally hundreds of fab-free tutorials to help you transform your wardrobe. But if you're like me and you do not have a fancy serger to finish off the edges of your seams, here's a lovely tip. Go ahead and do your straight stitch, but then use a tight wide zigzag and either go right on top of that straight stitch or right beside it, and it really does help to prevent fraying. These fabrics probably won't fray. I mean, it's jersey and fleece, so I don't think they're going to fray, but it really does just make the seams super sturdy, and then I don't have to worry about washing or anything like that either. Okay, so here are those side panels looking absolutely fabulous, I think. And look at that, red and red, absolute perfection. Now we got to get these sides and sleeves back on. So I'm very glad that I put my pins in here because I had already forgotten which side was which and what was the front, but this is the front of the right side here. So there we go. So I'm just gonna put this together with the right sides facing and making sure I have the front to the front. I absolutely do. And now I'm going to go up to the top here to my shoulder seams and match those up and then just kind of flip that around. It's a little bit picky here, but once you get stitching, it's pretty easy. And so first I'm just going to stitch this first side down, and then once I have that down, I'm going to flip it around and do the other side. Otherwise, it's just going to be too picky. So that's what I'm going to go do right now, and then repeat the whole process with the other sleeve side of the sweatshirt. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I just want to make sure that this is really, really clear. So first I stitched on the front, and you can see the back is not stitched on yet. So now I'm just going to fold everything around to the back side here and go and stitch that together. And doing it piece by piece like this really, really does make life so much easier instead of trying to go all the way around and then you have to deal with the sleeve and all. It's a pain in the butt. Trust me, do it this way. Okay, everything is stitched together now, and you can see I once again did my straight stitch and my zigzag there. So let's flip it right side out and see what we got. Okay, that looks so super cute. That came out absolutely perfectly, even up here. I mean, that's a little bit off, but I don't care. As I said, perfection is the enemy of good enough, and this is definitely more than good enough. I just have to, of course, trim up the bottom here and then put that bottom hem back on. So let's do that. So I have the bottom all nicely trimmed and even, and I have that bottom sweatshirt band that I removed at the very beginning. This tutorial is actually going very quickly. And here's a side seam. So I'm just going to flip this bottom band over top of the now upsized sweatshirt with the right sides facing. And of course, I'm going to use the side seams and line it up nicely there. Make sure the raw edges are all lined up as well, and then go stitch this together. And then you know what? It's actually going to be done. Hello, Skelly. He's waiting to go outside to play. So let's wrap this up, eh? We got to wrap it up, don't we, buddy? Okay, so there is the completed sweatshirt, and I think it looks pretty cool. It is very reminiscent of like a bowling shirt, I think, like a bowling league shirt. Very cool. Anyway, I forgot to mention, as you are putting this bottom band back on, be sure you are stretching as you are stitching, because your sweatshirt is now wider than it was before. But you know what? I think it is time to try this on and style it up. Hey, and here we are, right back where we started this DIY video, except now I'm wearing a much more comfortable and super adorably transformed I Love Refashioning sweatshirt. And how easy was that to do? It was so, so easy, and it is so much more comfortable. It's not tight on me at all anymore. So you know what, as I always say, if I can do it, you can do it. The full tutorial is just scroll back a bit, and there you go. There's the full tutorial. And speaking of scrolling, have a peek through my entire channel, because there's loads of fab free tutorials there. There's even more over on my blog. And as I said, you can take my cheap and cheerful courses, get my cheap and cheerful ebooks, as well as my cheap and cheerful print books. And again, I really try to make every single thing I do affordable for everyone, because everyone should be able to create their own unique style that they feel absolutely fantastic wearing. And you know, there's nothing better than when you're out and about and somebody says, "Oh, I love your shirt, where'd you get it?" And you say, "Why, thank you. I made it myself, and the tutorial's over here if you want to make your own." And until next time, I'm getting, I don't know what's going on in my head. And until next time, stay safe, stay well, and I'll catch ya on the zigzag. Oh, and if you missed it, please do go and check out the hilarious duet ASMR video that I did with Whispersoft ASMR, because it's absolutely hilarious. It'll be linked down below for you. Enjoy, and let me know how many sweatshirts you're going to be upsizing like this, or other shirts. And yeah, have a fantastic day, and thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video. I'm now going to go finish editing this video that you're watching right now. Okay.
This is Confessions of a Refashionista.